start it. You may want a block. You may not need one, but you're going to come to the back end of the mat. Bring your toes together and the knees quite wide apart, but keep the knees on the mat so they're not off the mat. That would be uncomfortable. If you're blocking, you're going to place the block beneath your bottom and have the feet a little wider. And then just going to come down. We have choices. You can come to the forearms, setting the gaze down to the floor, or forehead on the back of the hands, or even longer with the arms stretched out and the forehead towards the floor. Anything that sort of feels good, but I want you to feel that the weight is definitely back towards the heels. You're feeling some sensations through the groins, the knees, nothing hurts. And just settle in here for a moment. Dropping into the body, closing the eyes, creating a little bit of space for this practice, though it's going to be brief. It's not a long one, but it's something that I think you can practice on its own or incorporate it into a longer practice. Just weave it in. Just begin to notice the rise and the fall of your breath. And we'll just make this commitment. It's to focus, to deliberately move, and to be present. Everything else can set aside for the time being. Let's draw that breath in a little bit deeper, keeping the mouth closed. So drawing the breath through the nose and back out through the nose. Nice and easy sides to the breath. And then we'll just begin to open the eyes, letting the light in gradually. And now, depending on how you started, you may want to get the block out of the way and come to the shape I'm in with the forearms on the mat, the elbows below the shoulders, just for a moment, and the back end is all the same, nothing changes. And we're simply going to go over to the right, walking the hands. Now you can be creative and keep walking the left hand over the right, or just keep them equidistant, shoulder width apart, and begin to side stretch out of that left waist, that left hip, across the side ribs and along the arms to the pinky side of that left hand. Just keeping softness in the neck and the gaze unfocused. And just breathe here. And then pop the shoulders up. That will take you out of the intensity and allow us to gently come back to center. Take it just a little pause there. And move over now to the left. Easing into the right side chain. Again, taking micro movements if it feels good. Just make it your own. This is a waking up the side of the body. Long through the shins and open through the top of the feet. And broad through the groins. Good. And then slowly pop the shoulders up. Come back to center. And bring the hands in to support us. And we're going to bring our knees in. So now we'll be kneeling. And just rise up. Again, if it's too much, just pull your block and separate your legs and put the block beneath you, okay? If it's too much pressure for the feet, otherwise it's quite good for them. And we're just going to take the hands from where they are and turn them like we're holding a tray, palms face the ceiling. And we're going to bring some heat to the forearms. So slowly make a fist. I don't make a fist usually in my practice, but close the hands and then open them. Close them and open them. Close them and open them. And then start to speed that up. Don't compromise space for speed, but just get a little faster, building that heat You'll start to feel it. I'm sure I do. This is great. This is where we tend to be quite weak in our forearms, and it transposes to putting a little heaviness on the wrists. Downward dog. Do a couple more of those. And then wait for it. Just put the hands down for a moment. And we'll take the left hand, put it on the shoulder cap, and just start to draw slow, big circles with that elbow. Okay, just going backwards though. We won't go forwards. Just back, slowly tracing. Nice big circle with that elbow. Maybe one more. And then switch sides, right hand to right elbow. Again, circling. It's not technical, just get some movement in the shoulder girdle. Staying nice and long through the waist. That's it. Good. And then come back to center. And we're going to come off these heels, come to stand on the shins. Okay. Somewhat like this. And just draw the heels in so they're not splaying out. And we're going to take the left leg straight out, put the heel a little past the knee, and put the left hand against the inside of that left thigh or knee. Take the right hand, and you can just feel your way through the sort of the sternum at the diaphragm. And we're going to slowly drift over towards the left, full-footed through that left foot, long and strong heel, and put a little pressure. You choose how much. So that's kind of the gas pedal on the inside of the leg, and just allow this space down here to open and soften. It's going to be, could be very intense. This intensifies it. You may not want to do it, but you could just explore or experiment with lifting that heel and lowering the pose, maybe in a micro movement. I may not notice you deepen it, but you probably feel it. Good. And then put that heel down, press through the heel now into the ground and come back up. And we'll switch sides. Bring that leg in, put the other leg out. So the right one's out, toes looking to the side, nice and tall through the waist. The right arm comes gently bracing. That'll bring, also helps keep this area open as, oh, I'm a bit too short in it. And then slowly drift over, feeling the sensation here. Where is it strongest? That's it. And then it shouldn't hurt anything about the back leg. Again, that left hand can come here, just keeping us really sort of present with what's going on here. Creating space between the toes of your right foot. Try not to pull the energy into the arch. Good. Now lift the heel a little bit, drop the pose a little bit. Experiment. Range. That's it. Put the heel down, press through, come back up, bring the leg in, and put the hands down by the sides. Now we're in Thunderbolt. The shins are long and the heels are kind of pulled in. The arms down by the sides, and we're just going to slowly zipper up the front body. It's not a heart opener, and just lean back. Feel the waking up of the thighs. Keep the hips nice and open. Lean back and up. Don't look sideways. I am to see you, but and come back down and up. One more of those, all the way, all the way. Try not to squeeze your bum cheeks too much. And up, and we'll counteract that with a hinging at the hips. So like a kneeling utkatasana, spreading the hips towards the heel and bringing the arms back and long, tucking in this area and supporting the spine and the anterior chain. Good. Bring the arms up now, shoulder height, palms face each other. Lean back. Come forward. Arms by the side, hinge. Keep the gaze soft and neutral. Up, arms drift to shoulder height. Once they're there, lean back. Up. Arms come down, take the hinge, set the hips towards the heels. Good. Come up. Last one here, turn the toes of both feet right under. We're going to do this sort of modified camel. Take the hands and bring them to the back, sort of cradling the sacrum. Draw the elbows towards one another. And slowly, trying to keep nice and long and engaged here. This is long. Try to focus on opening the chest, the upper chest where the collarbones are resting. All this area is spreading, gentle on the neck. Should be able to swallow and then squeeze the belly in. Come back. Undo the feet, so flip them, sit all the way back and find the mat in front of you. I just stretch out. Usually you can always adjust. Spread the fingers and have a nice open palm. And we're going to drift up, bringing the shoulders over the wrists, separating the legs, the knees, and plug the belly up, support the spine. My shirt might be hanging down there. Take a couple of cat-cows here. So on the inhale, press the ground away, lift the crown and the tailbone. And then as you exhale, slowly move the spine, dome the back, express the breath, press the ground away. Bring the chin to the throat, inhaling up. You can do these anytime. They're phenomenal. Just exhale. One more of these in. Pull the hands towards the knees if you want more traction, and exhale. Now, inhale. We're going to take the left hand straight out from the shoulder, palms facing the ground, and the right leg straight out from the hips. Roll the thighs muscles in. So imagine you're holding onto a block, rolling inwards on the leg. Breathe here. There's space through the crown of the head. Is wonderful. I know lots going on. It looks very static. Bring that left hand back down. Drift forward. You'll feel the wrist, and just offer sort of the collarbones towards the front of the mat. Try not to lift the chin. It can be a micro movement too. And then just bring that right leg down, tap it and bring it up slowly. No jerky movements. Just slowly find the floor. One more of these down, waking up the hip and the glute. This time when he comes down, flex it quite strongly, press into the ball of the foot and press the heel towards the mat, waiting until you get some feedback from behind that right knee. That's it. Good. And then roll through. Oof, my ankle cracked. And come to center. Do it on the other side. So right arm, left leg, variation of bird dog. Usually the arm goes straight. So take up space to that right arm. Feel that length through that left leg and the energy drawn away from the ground. So really feel you've got this support, not only for the organs, but for the spine in the anterior, so the front of the body. Breathe, try not to collapse in the left shoulder. Yeah. And then bring that hand down. Drift on that plane, focusing primarily on your collarbones and just kind of dipping them towards the front of the mat. And it's a small movement back. Spread the toes of the left foot and just bring it down to the mat and up. Really using the hinge and the glutes here. Nice and static through the rest of the body, supporting it all the way down. Flex strongly, press into the heel. Wake up the back, maybe even the calf and the Achilles on the left side. That's it. And then bring it back. Sit back towards the heels. It doesn't really matter how far you go, but we're just trying to get back so we can stretch forward. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Inch the fingers up. Take a moment to breathe into the upper back here and then drift forward. Bring the shoulders over the wrists, taking the toes under at the same time. Lift and you'll find a high plank. Fire up both thighs. Be comfortable in the neck. If the heels were going to go anywhere, they would fall outwards here. Okay, slightly pigeon-toed. And pull the navel up. Just fill in this. Maybe have this idea of pressing against the door frame. Nice and wide. Good. And then let's give a little softness to the knees, and we're going to hinge and find the first downward dog. Again, you might want to step it out, pedal it a little bit. Find your own sort of expression of it. And then once you do, try to breathe into it. Really seek the ground through the heels. Allow that inversion to do its work. Downward dog. Wonderful. And then let's go through that flow. It's a beautiful flow. Just come into plank. Bring the knees down and take the ebb. So exhale towards the heels, stretching out the arch is wonderful for the feet. And back into the plank. Perhaps think of or sense waves on a beach, getting into downward dog. Inhaling into plank, nice, full. Exhale the knees down. And back into the hips and the feet and the underarms. Come back through. Just really moving with the breath. One more full cycle, inhaling. Knees down, the belly stays strong, though, push back. Back. And up, downward dog. Bring some softness to the knees, and we're going to just walk the hands in and in until you can find full-footed on the mat. You find your belly cresting the thighs, so you're quite low in a tuck. Arms just arabesque down, let go of the head. And allow the breath to sort of move into the upper back where the shoulder blades are. Give a little bit of work to the feet. And begin to straighten the legs a little bit and then begin to dangle. Here's a ragdoll. Sometimes a lot of us like to take the opposite elbow in ragdoll. You get a bit more of a dynamic stretch. What you want to be really aware of is this posture is all about softness in the neck, mouth, the jaw, the forehead. You're really just cascading the spine out of the tilted pelvis. If you held on to the elbows, just let go and begin to roll up on inhalations. When you express the breath, just stop. And at some point, you're going to roll up to stand at the back of the mat. I'll come over here. Now, here at the back of the mat, separating the feet hip distance, and you're feeling nice and strong through both. We're going to inhale the arms to shoulder height and they look to the ceiling. Exhale, swan dive in one to half stand. So nice intact spine. Inhale, Utkatasana, nice and deep, bring in the arms, shoulder height, press through the heels and go back into the half stand. Inhale the arms to shoulder height, spiral the open, shoulder blades to the spine, and exhale the arms down. And in, get some nice movement here and over. Really reach to the crown, take that seat to the back of the mat, press to the heels. Come back through over the standing legs. Inhale, take up space and roll those arms open, and exhale. Down. Last one, up. Right over the legs into half stand. Get into the power of, it's also called fierce pose. I'm just doing a little bit variation of it, and then half. Back in and down. That's good. Okay. Bring the feet together, so narrow the base. Interlace the fingers. If it's going to be too much, you're going to have to undo the interlacing and just have them free. Otherwise, interlace the fingers, flip them, push them towards me or towards the front of your space and bring them up. And then slowly rotate over to the right. Do it smooth and rich movements back to center. Go to the other side, keeping the hips, nice and square. You really reach and over. One more, over to the right and over to the left. Good. Come back and over to side bend. This is where you might need to let go of the arms. If it's too much, because the bind will just increase the depth. Rolling inwards on the feet and over. Let go of the hands. And now we're going to move to the top of the mat by lifting and popping the heel up, stepping the left foot forward. Yes, and pop the heel of the right foot. I always imagine you've got like weights in your hand, 10-pound weights, and you just drop over that foot. Looks really simple. You may not get all the way down. It's going to look different. That's fine. Step, again, one foot, pop, and lower down. Good. Step, get this wonderful action for the arch of the back foot, the balance, real kind of massaging the sole of the feet. So you may be up there. If you are, just stand. If you're still going, Just go at your own pace. I'm almost there. All right. Now standing at the top of the mat. I have my hands gripped. Let go of that. Woo. Okay, we're going to step back with the left leg long. So quite long. It's a warrior length. We're going to open up. So just softly let the back hip move a little forward so that you don't feel tweaking in that left leg. Okay. Bend the front leg. And see, I'm just going to lengthen my pose. My pose was a bit too short for me. And we're going to bring the arms up to shoulder height and open the both once again. But this time, we're taking the thumb and first finger, like a little raindrop, and you're going to soften the elbows in towards the waist. You know, you've kind of got your sweet spot when you feel some feedback, possibly achiness across where your collarbones rest. And then really find the mat with your feet. It's big lower pose. This is a way to practice sort of a warrior two massive pose with slightly softer arms, and the gaze is over the navel. Sad. Be okay with that, just different. Okay, let go of the thumb and the first finger, bring the arms back out and bring them in now. So the middle fingers are sort of cresting right in front of the ears themselves. Press through that right heel and slowly hinge over. So it's not a side bend. You want to feel intact on both sides of the waist as best you can. So if you start to lose the strength, then it might look a little bit more like this. It might look like this. These are all a variation on this extended side angle. Try to keep working the back leg. Press through that front leg, straighten it. Let the arms come down. Good. Now, pivot on the back foot. You may need to shorten it, which I'm just doing by bringing my heel in. Otherwise, pivot on the back foot. Take the hands to the hips and elbows. We're looking kind of tracking behind the wrists. And just play around with some sort of a warrior three flight thing. You could stay like this. You can bring movement. You can find height, whatever. Make it work for you. Okay. But when you're ready to exit, bend the front leg, bring the left leg back and through, take the hands from the hips, bind them around the shin or the knee, and reach up, press down through the standing leg, and then put it down. It's a big opening for the hips. Now we'll step back with the right leg, same. Little softness in the back hip. No angry knees. Bend. Feel length. Feel stacked. Open the arms. Keep the gaze over the spine. And then thumb to first finger, elbows in till you feel nice and soft in the waist, or soft or release collarbones. Imagine that you're going to leave a permanent imprint on the mat with the strength and the power and the weight of your feet. Bring the arms back up. Bring the middle fingers to just in front of the ears. Keep the legs strong and they're static, and simply start to hinge over that front leg, and yet kind of keep spiraling that top side of the body towards the ceiling. Watch the chewing surfaces of the teeth. Slowly press through that heel. Bring the arms out and down. Pivot and bring the hands to the hips. You can put them wherever you want. And begin that sort of playful balance, closed hip. Adding arms or not. And then slowly coming through, tugging the belly in, lifting that leg right up. Placing it down. Let's bring the feet quite close together at the top of the mat. The hands at the sternum, palms will face one another. And we'll inhale up. You can look up at the hands if it feels good or not. And then just swan dive like we did before to half. Breathe in half this time, really lengthen. And then take a big squat. Open the back body and step both feet back. Find that high plank we did before. Yeah. Bring the knees down. Keep the toes curled under and stretch back. Yeah. Come back. You're not going to come all the way. You're going to bring your right foot to where your right hand was. And I'm a bit long, so I'm going to shorten my pose. I'm just bringing my back leg in a little bit. Arms just down by the sides, and we'll just give a little bit of a lift and a tuck, tuck. So if you really want to get sort of stronger in it, you activate that right foot in and the left toes forward, and you'll feel the hamstring. Gently and controlled, bring that knee down. Put the hands down. Go back, keep the hands glued. Pop back up. You probably don't need to adjust because now I adjusted last time for myself. So, and then up, lengthening down the right hip, lifting, hovering. And gently bring it to the mat. Put the hands down. That's quite a bit fast. Put the leg back. Stretch back. Look at the space between the thumbs and come to the forearms, stepping right back into a forearm plank for a moment, keeping that fire burning. Everything working. Lowering the knees. And then the hips come down, release the top of the feet, press the ground away. You'll find some sort of a sphinx pose. Try not to squeeze your bottom together. More press your energy down from the hips into the ground. Elbows out, forehead on the back of the hands. Let the heels fall out here. And then lift the head, and we're going to go into a little cobra. Hands beneath the shoulders. The farther they go down the body, the deeper the pose becomes. So slowly lift. And then to downward dog. And from here, once you feel you really got the anchor through the hands, through the heels, long in the spine, let's step through to the top. Okay, and we'll just keep the feet hip distance apart. Hands can come to the hamstrings or the shins, whatever feels good, and just let the chin soften in. Come up. Bring feet in ever so slightly. We're going to do a reverse table. So plant the hands, generally the fingers displayed, they look towards the hips. You'll have to be the judge because you'll come up. I'm pretty sure that's okay for me. It could be a little longer, but really up. Express those arms away from the spine and then come down. Turn the hands out ever so slightly, splay them a little bit. Bring the feet in a bit. Come back up. You're not going to go as high as we did before. Bring your right heel right underneath you and draw that right knee towards the mat. Maybe tap it. It may not get there because it's quite a big release for your thigh muscles, the quadriceps, and the hip flexors. So be gentle. Come back. Go to the other side. So tuck it right under. Oof. And right back. Lower your bottom towards the heels. Come up, and we'll take the soles of the feet together. If this already doesn't feel good, but if you're at home, you could block beneath the knees. Otherwise, don't do it. Make sure your block's going to be accessible somewhere if you're having it. And then slowly come down on the forearms, gazing down. And then bring the body right down to the back of the head, at which point you may want to just press into the arms, and so you lift the upper back off and put it back down so nothing's pinching or tucked under. If you'd like, this is a great space to sort of close your eyes. Gently lifting the corners of the mouth while you're here supine. And slowly bring one leg, sole of the foot to the floor, and the other one. Before moving, just notice your lower back is away from the mat in its natural curve. We all have different degrees of curvature, but it's not on the mat. But now you're going to squeeze the breath out of yourself and we'll press our spine into the mat and then release. Do a couple more so you get this. See this release. Release. It's kind of therapeutic. And then bring the legs together and slowly, gently put your hands on below the knees and kind of bring the thighs towards your hips. This is where a little bit of choice movement might feel really good. Plant the feet down. Let's take a moment to lift the hips in a restorative inversion. Heart is the head is below the heart. Just make sure that when you place this block, you're not pinching any of the vertebrae in your lower back, and let everything settle for a little pause. Again, if you haven't already, maybe closing the eyes, perhaps lifting the legs up for this modified legs up the wall, keeping a slight bend behind the knees. You know you've got your sweet spot in this posture when you sort of don't have to hold them, but you do need a slight bend here. Legs down. When you feel the feet reach the mat, lift off. Let the hips come down gently, and then just take the legs down. Bring the arms up. You might hold on to them or interlace or create some sort of like, feels good to really reach up and down. And then if there's anything you need to do to it, like roll around. Otherwise, either bending the legs and keeping the feet on the floor and the arms come down face up is one way, or more traditionally, just lie down in Shavasana, allowing for the integration and sort of restoration. You know, the practice was brief. Just take a moment to soak it all in. And gently move back through, sort of feeling the ground, noticing the space around you, even if the eyes are still closed. Moving fingers or toes. And then when you feel ready, just come over to your side and up to sitting to reestablish the equilibrium. Thank you for sharing the practice with me, and I hope you enjoyed it.